Alright guys, exciting day today. Your man Mickey over at EVX on YouTube just dropped the V12 review video. So if you don't know already, Mickey's been working with the Inmotion company to review the V12, fix it up, make it a little bit better, but he's had access to this wheel for a couple months now. So let's take a look at his videos and have a little reaction on what the final product is going to be. Alright, so here he's just going over the different specs of the wheel. I won't bore you with all that. You can go look that up online. All you really need to know is it's an 1800 watt-hour battery. It's a 16-inch wheel. It's going to go somewhere in the range of 40 miles an hour at the absolute top. You're going to get 40 to 50 miles of range out of the wheel, depending on how big you are and how you ride it.
Comes a lot of responsibility. You should really wear a helmet.
He really should wear a helmet.
Braking could be better.
Go pretty quick there for no helmet, Mickey.
I got the old tears.
Especially on a demo wheel.
Man,
who knows what could have happened there.
And just pretty zippy. I mean, it's a 16-inch tire. Woo!
Yeah, I wouldn't go that fast without a helmet. You guys will see me ride without a helmet from time to time, but I'm usually just crawling. That was pretty quick.
Riders have said, you know, if Inmotion or Kingsong, with their quality and their pizzazz, if they were to get into the enthusiast level high-speed game, we would switch over in a second. We were always just waiting for that era to begin. But now it is here, and I'm willing to wager that this wheel is a Nikola killer. But let's find out.
Yeah, people have definitely been hoping that Inmotion would push the envelope, so it's good to see their last two wheels, the V11 hit at that 35 mile an hour speed, this new V12 pushing supposedly 40 miles an hour. We'll see. Mickey says some things at the end of the video that might differ from that, but it's cool to see that Inmotion's actually starting to get into that performance realm. You know, they're the company that people really like as far as quality control, build quality. So we'll see. The V11 did have some problems upon release.
All right, guys, we are here at the hill here in Brooklyn.
All in all, the V11's a beautiful wheel. So hopefully the V12 is just as nice.
I've done the MSP here. I have done the EX here. And today we're going to do a head-to-head challenge with the V12 and the Gotway Nikola Plus. So both of these are pretty comparable wheels, obviously. Both 16-inch by 3 tires. But the Nikola has a 2200 watt motor and the V12 has a 2500 watt motor. So let's see if the V12 can beat the Gotway Nikola. But again,
motor watt hours don't mean a lot though, so that doesn't really tell us too much, honestly. It's just kind of an arbitrary stat that these companies throw out there. There's no set testing mechanism to say, all right, the wattage on this one, the wattage on that one. It's just kind of hokey numbers until you actually see, you know, magnet size matters a lot more. Yeah, that's the difference between a high-speed motor and a high-torque motor. The high-torque motors have wider magnets, whereas the high-speed motors have thinner magnets. So depending on how that magnet configuration is and how many you have, it dramatically changes the performance, even if it's the same wattage.
A real judgment in my head about who I thought would win this. But in the end, as you've just seen, the average of them puts the Inmotion ahead by 3/4 of a second, which in my head is completely negligible. We'll just call it an even tie. You know, this isn't F1 racing, and it's not an exact science. For what it's worth, I came up the hill at 37 miles an hour on the V12. I looked down the screen and confirmed. So that's impressive considering everything we know about.
Yeah, I don't know, 3/4 of a second is
but I do need to mention
pretty good chunk. I mean, you're talking percentage-wise, that's like 8% better or something like that. That's pretty significant, considering that you're talking about the exact same specs of the battery, which is really what matters.
On the Inmotion, as you would expect, there is tilt back. So on
there it is, the tilt back.
2 of those 3 runs, at points, I was just slowly falling into the tilt back. But again, 37 miles an hour up a hill, just tapping the tilt back.
Yeah, we kind of knew that Inmotion would have some tilt back on the wheel. I mean, that's just par for the course. Every single wheel they've released has had tilt back before you get to that top speed. So it makes sense that you're not going to be able to do 40, especially up a hill. You're not going to be able to do 40 miles an hour without tilt back. Skip the ads
secret I
here.
want to share with you guys is this. So for the longest time, little backstory here, I was going back and forth with Inmotion about how high the pedal should be. You know, they've kept it pretty high, and that's going to be really great if you're a technical rider or off-road rider or somebody who just likes.
Yeah, me, I personally, I love the high pedal heights. I mean, I'm riding off-road all the time, and to me, one of the biggest risk factors for a crash or an accident is going to be pedal clipping. So the higher those pedals are, while not affecting your balance, it's a win for me.
We went back and forth on this for a long time. Spoke to my buddy Law out in Vegas, and he agreed with Inmotion that we need the higher pedal hangers. And look, I just kind of said Inmotion.
Yeah, see, Law does a lot more of that technical style riding, jumping, bumping, turning, off-road, that kind of stuff. You want the high pedals. I mean, if you're just going straight down the highway, you know, if you're riding in the streets, yeah, you want to be lower to the ground. But that lower center of gravity is definitely nice when you're trying to push speeds. But I don't ride faster than 30, 35 miles an hour anyway, so to me, it's negligible.
And it seemed to look like they would work out pretty well with all the extra space we have down here. And I guess after some discussion with their engineers and working out
these are really cool though. I really like this adjustable pedal height design. It looks like it's going to be really sturdy, really safe, like secure to the wheel. That's one thing that worries me about an adjustable pedal height though, is that connection, how it's going to handle stress. But this design does look pretty good. It looks like, you know, with the slot in there for it to hang into, along with the 4 screws on top, you know, hopefully it holds up well. I love the concept of the adjustable pedal though, because there's definitely days where I wish I had lower pedal height. You know, I mean, if you're just doing nothing but road riding, yeah, you want lower pedals. You're not going to be worried about clipping your pedals, so why do you need a higher pedal? You'd rather that lower center of gravity that really just get down low and zip around.
Go with the top one here.
And these look easy enough to change. I mean, it's just 4 screws at the top. Yeah, he's showing it now. The 4 screws at the top that you just undo, and then you just slot it in and re-screw it. I mean, that's a great design, honestly.
And you're good to go.
I really like that. I hope we see that on more wheels in the future.
A lot more versatility out of their wheel. So for me, I like to ride a lot of cruising, so I'm going to keep it pretty low most of the time. But for polo days, like on Sundays when we play polo, I'm going to raise that all the way up and have that deep carving ability. So one of the more interesting things you might have noticed is the drone sound that this wheel makes when you're riding down the street, especially at higher speeds. So kind of like this.
Here he goes, high speed without the helmet again. Guys, don't do that.
Hopefully you can hear that. This is a pumped sound that is pumped in through the speakers on this thing. And, you know, I know that a lot of you are going to love this, like myself, but some of you probably aren't. So good news is you can turn that off if you're not into it. And
yeah, see, that's something for me I'm kind of iffy on. Like, in concept, I like that it makes some noise, so when you're sneaking up on pedestrians, you're not just silent stealth mode. But at the same time, I'm a loud guy. I don't mind just saying, hey, coming up behind you, on your left. You know, if you're more of an introvert, you don't like talking to strangers, you know, maybe that noise is something you're going to like. Personally, I love the silence of these machines, though, so having a pumped-in noise,
that I can hit that tilt back and it's not going to hit me and knock me off. It just kind of cradles you right into it. So this is something very useful, and to be honest, it's much better than trying to listen for the beeps when you're in cutout tunnel or wherever you're riding.
Yeah, the tilt back sounds very similar to the tilt back on the V11. It's very gentle on the V11. It's not like some wah, wah, wah. It just slowly, very gently tries to stop you, to slow you down, which is good. I mean, you don't need it much on the V11 because I'm not pushing that wheel too hard. But this wheel, 100-volt battery, you know, 40 mile an hour top speed. You're probably going to be pushing a little bit more. Having that gentle tilt back, it's useful. I mean, for me personally, I don't like riding over 30, 35 miles an hour. You know, there's a dramatic difference once you get up over 35. You can really feel it. I can anyway. I know when I'm over 35, and it's not for me. But I want something with the overhead to be able to handle 35 without it redlining the machine. I mean, maybe you haven't heard me talk about that before, but I don't think you should be riding any unicycle at the top end for any extended period of time at all. You should be, you know, if you ever touch the top end of a unicycle, you should tap it, touch the top end. Don't ride on the top end of any of these machines. I mean, that's what they're designed to do at the maximum. So if you're just constantly redlining it, you're stressing your MOSFETs, the capacitors, the wires are getting hot, just all around the control board stress, the battery stress. You're stressing everything in the machine to its absolute maximum limits. Eventually, that's going to cause a failure.
It's nice, it's integrated, but it's not going to give you a lot of leverage. These are the RGB lights. As you can see here, despite my Velcro, there's
Yeah, all the normal stuff: kickstand, lift sensor button, trolley handle.
A lot of people have been asking, is there a brake light? Of course there's a brake light.
Would have been disappointing if the stuff wasn't on the wheel. The RGBs. I'm not a big RGB person. I mean, at night they're really nice to have for visibility, but I think they look goofy on the wheels.
Anybody who loves RGB is going to be into this.
All the RGB fad with all the technology, it's just so goofy. It's like straight out of the 80s, like techno, Tron style. I'm not into it.
We have USB-A, USB-C, and a tiny 5-pin. But don't worry, this tiny 5-pin is just for prototype purposes. I'm told on the final we will have the 5-pin we're all used to on the Gotway and Veteran wheels. So that's very exciting to have a bit of a universal port between the few of them.
USB-C drive's a nice little
you can charge your devices.
a little change up. It's kind of cool. I don't really know how practical it's going to be, considering like you need like what are you plugging into the wheel that's going to be USB-C to USB? You know, usually it's going to be USB to USB-C.
It's not bad. Don't forget, the last thing on this list is the touchscreen.
But it's an interesting addition, something we haven't seen on any wheels before.
Important. This touchscreen is amazing, and I don't know why we've never had this before. So we've got a whole video on this touchscreen. Find my Customization King video, and you'll find more on it. Let's take a look really quick.
The touchscreen's cool. I do dig the touchscreen. I think that's really nice, not having to have your phone to make some adjustments while you're on the road. Not that you should be making a ton of adjustments once you've got it set up. But, I mean, seeing the speed display, it's a really, really clear speed display. Having your ride stats, you know, how your top speed, your average speed, your distance riding, you know, your battery percentages, your voltage. I don't see voltage, but I'm sure there's got to be your voltage on there so you can actually keep track of your battery for real. You know, remember, the percentage is just a guesstimate based on your battery voltage. So get familiar with the battery voltage. Maybe we'll do another video on that sometime in the future, just talking about the significance of voltage when it comes to your batteries.
I mean, one of the things, too, just to quickly note it, I mean, go to that video to see more about it, but we've now been introduced to what I call split ride modes. So instead of just having like
this split ride mode concept, I actually really like. So, like, when I first got on the EXN, I love the soft mode for accelerating. When I'm going fast on that soft mode and you're trying to get something out of it, oh man, the wheel just zips. It absolutely flies compared to hard mode, which, you know, on the V11 I used to ride hard mode, but I really didn't like it on the EXN. I just couldn't get the wheel to pump. But the braking on soft mode was really throwing me at first. It was really, like, I've gotten used to it now, so I don't really mind it. But when you go to brake, it really does a hard tilt back to get you to help you brake, right? But if I had the ability to tone that down a little bit when I first started on the EXN, I definitely would have. And I probably still might touch it down a little bit if I had the option.
Look, overall, I really do like this wheel. I do think there's a potential that I might grow out of it in the future. Who knows? Don't hold me to it, but as of now, I really enjoy it and see a huge need for it to sort of replace my Nikola. But it's really great because there's a lot of versatility. It can be a super chill cruising commuter rider, but it can also be a really sort of aggressive mobbing around town in your neck of the woods rider. So here's what I don't love. The motor, the top heaviness, and the side pad situation. You know, let's start with the motor. The motor's a 2500 watt motor, but it kind of doesn't feel like it. And I don't know if that's just the manufacturer they went with, but I feel like it can be overpowered in certain scenarios. Okay, time for some real talk.
Yeah, again, the motor configuration is more important than the wattage. So we're going to have to see, you know, what the magnet situation is like in the motor.
Let me dive into this. So it's not clear to me if it's a motor problem, the manufacturer, or is it, you know, the motor can't handle it, or what the issue is, or is it Inmotion just unready to go that far, giving us an actual 70 kilometers an hour? I'm not sure, but basically what happens is around 65, 66, 67, somewhere in the above 65, you get the tilt back going till you get to 70. So, like I said, at 68 or so, where I've been hitting as my top end, you're in severe tilt back at that point, to where pushing beyond that just feels unsafe, unstable, a little scary, to be honest. For somebody who's looking to, you know, cruise at that speed, you can't. I mean, Who wants to cruise with their feet tilted
Yeah,
back?
but I mean, guys, we just talked about that. If you're looking to cruise at the top end of any wheel, you're making a poor decision on your purchase. You should be buying something with way more overhead. You want to cruise at 40, you only have like 2 options, Sherman or Monster Pro, right? Maybe the EXN, I mean, maybe the RS, but realistically, you're talking about one of the Gotway wheels or the Sherman. Those are the only wheels that you can safely cruise over 40. Like, if a wheel's advertised at 40, you should not be riding 40.
I've been going back and forth with Inmotion on this for a couple of weeks.
You can
now,
touch 40. Don't
final launch
stick
here,
at 40. That's
and
just
it's something
asking for
I'm
trouble.
not satisfactory on. Now, to compare it to the Nikola, my Nikola Plus, you know, I can do 40 miles an hour. I can tap it. I can hold it for like maybe a mile. But I'm not
the
holding
Nikola at 40,
40,
you shouldn't be.
42, at least, never 43. 43 is a cutout on the Nikola.
Yeah, 40 to 43. So you hit a bump at 40, you're done. You're toast. Like, don't ride a wheel at its max speed.
Like, you can hold 38 for a good while. This wheel can do that because, like I said, you can hold 40 on this wheel. So if you're someone looking for something that is completely just a few miles per hour upgrade to your Nikola, and you were like, yes, finally 3 more miles per hour, I don't think this is the wheel for you. But if you're someone who's looking at the overall aspects of this unicycle and you're like, wow, this is definitely an upgrade.
Yeah, definitely agree. I don't think this is going to be a performance upgrade over a Nikola, over an RS, over the MSP, over, you know, definitely, I mean, it's definitely going to be a performance upgrade over a King Song 18 or 16X.
I really tried, guys. I tried to push this thing to 70.
But it's just the Inmotion's entry into that 1800 watt-hour battery category. That 100-volt wheel.
It doesn't ride like a Gotway where it's kind of like feels like infinite power till you die. They are doing some sort of speed acceleration curve magic here that is really making.
Yeah, see, I personally, for me, my style of riding, I like that it has that acceleration curve stopping me. Once I get to 35-ish miles an hour, like, I don't need to be going faster than that. The wheel's not designed to hold me faster than that. You know, I see a lot of guys, when they get the V11, they're pushing at 35 miles an hour. I mean, that is dangerous, guys. You shouldn't be riding at the top end of any wheel.
I did my test against the Nikola up
You know,
the hill,
when you're doing that, you better be prepared to crash. You better be ready. You better have your full suit of armor on, your helmets, your wrist guards, your knee guards, your chest protectors, your back protectors. You better have everything, because, man, you're flirting with it.
Or I guess it's like a love-hate thing, is like they've done a lot of things for safety, and they have waterproof ratings, like things that we don't see on other, you know, enthusiast level wheels. They have given it a lot of safety, quality.
Yeah, you didn't really get into the waterproofing on this one, Mick. I love the waterproof batteries. That's one of the features on this wheel that I'm most looking forward to. I think that's huge, absolutely huge. You know, if something catastrophic were to happen and you dropped your wheel into a pond or something and your batteries are still good, the wheel's salvageable. You know, on other wheels, you lose the batteries, you might as well just get a new wheel. I mean, the batteries are so expensive. It's the most expensive part of the machine. It's not even close. So to have them be totally waterproof,
kind of a chore.
That's kind of awesome.
V11. The other thing is the pads. Obviously, I wish they didn't have any pads on that side of that thing. They could still keep that little side panel on there, but yeah, it kind of gets in my way. Maybe that's nitpicking, but not a huge fan of that. It's a 16-inch wheel, so it does a lot of things really good, but nothing great. But with that being said, it's a hell of a lot of fun. I've rode with some serious riders in the city with this already, and it's kept up very well. If that means anything to you guys, take it for what it is. This is a very fun wheel that can keep up in a New York City setting. So to wrap it all up in a nice bow, fantastic wheel, 100 volt, 16 inches, Nikola killer, very, very fun wheel. I recommend any and all of you who don't have an aversion to 16-inch wheels, get rid of your other ones and buy this one. And also, if you're looking for more V12 content, I have 7 more videos on the subject, so find my...
Yeah, I definitely think that this is going to be the highest quality, definitely 16-inch wheel, but even just in that 1800 watt-hour, 100-volt battery range, this is just a really, really high-quality, nice, well-put-together wheel. You know, it is what it is. And depending on the price point, I've heard rumors it's going to come in at $2,300. We haven't really seen the American vendors offering it yet, so we don't know for a fact what it's going to be, but at $2,300... I mean, you're right there with the Nikola, with the RS, you know, the King Song. I mean, you're right there. So I don't see why you should be afraid of spending the extra $200 or $100 or $300 to get a wheel with the higher quality, build quality, higher quality materials. All right, and Mickey did just say that he has a bunch of other videos on the V12. We can go over a little bit more in depth on those. If you guys liked this video, if you want me to do another reaction to some of those other videos that he did, I'm definitely going to be watching them. I really enjoyed this presentation from Mickey. I thought it was great. You know, head on over to EVX on YouTube and check out these videos if you haven't already. You know, they're definitely some really cool content. He's got his hands on the V12. He's definitely putting the most in-depth videos together on that right now. You know, like I said, if you like this video that I just made, if you want me to do another reaction on some of the other videos, comment down below. Let me know that you liked it. Tell me what I should do differently. You know, like the video for me if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. All that good jazz. So, the V12, I'm really looking forward to it. It's an exciting wheel. So, that's all for this video, guys. I really appreciate you watching. As always, ride safe out there. We'll catch you next time.